afternoon, Year 3, and welcome back to another one of our history lessons, where we are going to be continuing to look at the Roman army, the Roman Empire, and the effect the Roman Empire had on Britain. So obviously today is the Wednesday, the 20th of January, and your learning intention is to know how Queen Boudica challenged the Romans. And I know there's a couple of people, especially in Cedar, that are going to be very excited to have a look at this specific individual. Now, there are two different ways of saying this person's name, and because it was so long ago in history, there are different ways of saying it. So you may say it as Boudica, or you may say it as Boudicca. Okay, so there's two different ways. Both are fairly correct. So it's Boudica or Boudicca. I say Boudica, but you may say Boudicca, and that's absolutely fine. Right, so as a bit of a starter, can you name the 4 battle techniques? You may wish to pause the video here to have a little look and name them. There's some pictures. It might give you a bit of a clue. Oh, what does this one look like? We spoke about that. Or somebody might be quite up high on something for that one. When you are ready, we will come back together and we will share them. So this one is the repel cavalry. Remember, if it was on horses, that's what this would be used for, to keep the horses away. It would kind of jab at their legs and the horses would then run off. We've got the turtle, obvious reasons, it looks like a turtle, and they would go fighting towards their enemy. They would creep forward in small steps, help them get closer without being hurt. We've got the wedge, that was almost a bit of a V shaped, that helped them get closer again. And we've got the orb. So well done if you remembered those. We will recap it again on our next lesson, just so we really are clear on those. Okay. So you might already have a bit of a clue because I've shared the learning intention with you, but I wonder, do you know who this is? Well, if you could, what can you tell about her from the picture? To me, she's, okay, so she's got a spear, so she might be a bit of a fighter. Well, she's female, that's one. What else can we tell? She looks quite fierce, doesn't she? And you might be able to come up with some other things that you might decide about her. She doesn't look very timid. She looks quite mean, doesn't she? And she looks like she's ready to fight with her big spear she's got there. Okay, so Boudica was the wife of an Iceni tribe's king. Okay, so her husband was the king of an Iceni tribe. When the Romans invaded Britain, they allowed the husband to keep his land as long as he paid the Romans some money, okay? But when the king died, Boudica then became queen. However, the Romans decided to take control of the land and all the property. So now the Romans went back on their deal and they've decided to take all her land again. Now, Boudica protested against this, but they beat her up and they beat her daughters up as well, okay? How do you think this would have made her feel? And how do you think it made the Iceni tribe feel? I think from looking at her in this picture, she probably felt really annoyed and angry because they wouldn't have done this to the king. So why have they done it to her? How do you think it made the Iceni tribe feel? Well, they'll either feel angry because they've attacked their leader, or they might feel a bit doubtful and think, well, is this the person we're really following now? Is this our leader? Okay. So she was furious with the Romans, and this caused a lot of resentment towards the Romans. Okay, lots of people then turned on them and they hated the Romans. Boudica's revolt. Okay, so the revolt is when she stood up and she said, no, I'm not listening to that. I'm gonna attack back. They marched to Colchester, and that was the Roman capital, okay, and defeated the Roman legion there. Her army could continue to revolt, destroying lots of cities. So her army that she kind of put together very quickly started to attack lots of different cities that the Romans would have already invaded and maybe put their mark on. Boudica was successful at the beginning because the Romans weren't expecting it. All their armies were off fighting elsewhere all over the country and all over the world. We know they started to go further away from Italy, so they weren't expecting somebody to start attacking. They weren't ready for it. So thinking about what you know about the well-organized, very highly trained army and Boudicca's very new army, what do you think will have happened next? So the Romans then defeated Boudicca's army. They fought back and they defeated the army. Now, Boudicca thought, I'm not going to be captured. There's no way I'm going to do that. So Boudica killed herself by drinking a potion. Okay. Right. So what you're going to do today is create a text map. Let me move me down there. Is create a text map, retelling how Boudica challenges the Romans. So sort of Boudica's story that she's done. I've done one very quickly, as you know, not an artist. So this is Boudica. She's the wife and she's got Iceni tribe king. They were allowed to keep the land. Oh, I've missed a picture, but she becomes queen. Romans took the land, hit her and her daughter. Okay, so I've done the first bit. You may wish to carry it on, but you are creating a text map telling me all about that. I have you put some keywords here if you wanted to use those as well. Okay. So get creative with that. Again, watch the video back if you want to retell the story. I can't wait to see all your text maps. Keep these safe because we're going to be using these in the next lesson. So once you've done them, please keep them safe and ready to use again. Must be next week. Okay, thanks, bye.